How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today that's a good smell. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like it, and consider subscribing. Make sure to hit that notification bell. This thing behind me is, of course, my 2008 Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, and in the last episode, we did a lot of work to the rear end of this car. We put this panel in, we put these really expensive taillights in, and it has never looked better. However, these taillights don't actually work yet because I have to do the wiring. Now, the wiring is a little bit of an adventure. I did say that in my last episode. The wiring is a bit of an adventure in itself. So today we're gonna be doing the wiring. But for me to get to any of the wires and make my own wiring diagram and test everything, I'm gonna have to take all this off and undo the work we did yesterday. Don't worry, it's gonna look a lot better by the time we're done. If you guys hear anything in the background, please note that I have a new roof being installed right now, and it might get a little noisy. So I'm gonna try to have that as low as possible, but if you hear it, just know that that is there, and that's sort of the reality of doing this stuff in your own garage. Okay, so in front of us, we have a very familiar sight. This is a taken apart LP570 taillight. And if you guys didn't know, I got this taillight from eurospares.co.uk. They're an amazing supplier for parts that are really hard to find on exotic cars, kind of like mine. So if you have a Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, anything like that, you can hit them up, and actually you can get a fair bit off with the discount code Tavarish at checkout. So go check that out. Links will be in the description below. So here is our new taillight, and here's our old one. And the reason why I have the old one in front of me is so I can show you how the wiring is different. So as you can see, at the back of the stock taillight, we have 4 bulbs, and these bulbs are actually dual filament, so they have 2 functions. Now, this is a rear fog light, I believe. This is a brake light and clearance light. This is the reverse light, and this is the turn signal. So this, I believe, should be, yeah, the turn signal is amber. Reverse light is just gonna be clear. Single filament, and these are both dual filament. And I've already sort of mapped out where everything goes as far as the wiring. I know which wires do which. It's actually just 6 pins. It's not really that hard to understand and pin out. All you have to do is go into the car, turn it on, make the lights do all the things the lights do, and then just write down where the pins go. But I don't know what this does. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to find out by tricking it essentially into thinking that it's installed in the car. And we do that by hacking it up. And the way we're gonna do that is by taking some wire strippers, and they're actually wire cutters in this case, and we're just gonna cut off the pigtail here. Now, those of you in the audience who are a little squeamish, you might wanna look away. So just give them one of these. I know it looks kind of barbaric, but don't worry, there's method to my madness. Well, whatever warranty there was just flew out the window. So we take this, just cut this sheathing right down the middle. So we want to open it up, and we see the wiring loom. See, here's the wires, and here's some electrical tape that we can also, actually, you know what? It'll be easier if we just give it one of these. So what we're gonna do here is we are just going to strip back the ends of these wires just to expose the bare wire, and also twist it just so the frayed edges don't go anywhere. Keep the wire intact. So now we can do a little bit of sleuthing and find out where these wires go. Now I see a red and black wire here. I see red and black, and also a white and black. So these are gonna be our brake lights and also clearance lights, these 3 guys right here. This is the reverse light, so this has to be by process of elimination. Actually, this might be, there's a tan one and also a white one, so that's actually the white one. So a good rule of thumb usually is that the blacks are ground and the white or red is power. So since this is a regular 12 volt DC circuit, I'm just going to put these two together. These are just going to be the ground, because I see all of these have a black connection. And then since this one's white and then these two are red, I'm going to put those two together. I believe, yes, actually it's an off-white. So we're going to put these two together. And then to turn this on, all I have to do is apply 12 volts to this one and then a ground to this. And the way we're going to do that is with a battery jump box. And I just connected the leads to two small wires. And then when I turn it on and connect this, the light should turn on just as normal. And then when I connect a 12 volt to here, then the reverse light should come on. So let's check that out. All right, guys, I turned off the light so you guys can see a little better when the light comes on. I have connected this ground, the black cables, with a house wire tie. Now, this is not the way you're supposed to wire anything in a car, but since we're just testing, this is fine, just because I don't want any short circuits in case the wire slips or whatever. So here's the ground, and then here's the power. And if I just turn this on, now we are live. And if I connect these, the brake light should come on. Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Looks like a flux capacitor. What makes time travel possible? Oh yeah, that is awesome. So the way the Gallardo can regulate this when it's in clearance mode or in brake mode, because when you press the brakes, you're going to want it to be full brightness, but when it's just in the clearance light mode, it's going to be at around half brightness. It sends a variable voltage signal, so I'm not going to have to worry about any of that. So this should work in the car. Now, if I want to turn on the reverse light, all I do is this, and the reverse light is there. Oh yeah, that is awesome. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking, where are the turn signals? I didn't test those out. Well, that's true, because on this taillight, that's actually a problem. These don't have the provisions for turn signals. And the way that the Gallardo, well, rather the LP560 and LP570 dealt with it was that they would double or triple these lights on the bottom as turn signals. These things would blink. Now, the European version actually had a strip up here. And you can see that the US version that we have here has the provisions for those lights, has these 5 bosses, but they're all blocked out. You can't actually put any lights in them. And that's a problem for me, because on the 2004 to 2008 Gallardo, my older style Gallardo, they had a separate turn signal, and I don't want to wire in a relay or anything like that to make these blink, because I have perfectly good light space up here. So what I'm going to do is another thing that I didn't really think I would be doing today, but I'm going to be drilling into these very expensive taillights and hoping that I can wire in a solution that looks OEM and functions like OEM and doesn't ruin my really, really expensive taillights. So what we're gonna do is we have to get this even more naked. We have to take off these harnesses, and they are actually a little bit finicky to take off because they're these weird clip style. But you just take them off, and we're gonna put them to the side because it's about to get a little dirty up in here. Come on, come on. There we go. So I'm not just gonna be cutting this thing willy-nilly, and I'm also not gonna be using any sort of LEDs or gluing anything or doing anything that doesn't look OEM. What I am using is something really cheap on Amazon, and that is this. These are little connectors, little housings for a WY5W light. And you can find these on Amazon all day. They come in packs of 2. I bought a bunch, and they're amber, exactly what we need. These are actually the holders that Lamborghini calls for. This is part of the stock wiring harness. And the great part about it is, all you have to do is make a regular hole, and they're rubber, and they have a little grommet right here, so you just pop them right in and they create a really good weather seal. So here comes the fun part. I get to drill into my brand new taillight. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. So I'm using a step drill bit, and these are really cool because you know exactly how far you've gone with the steps on the drill. So I'm going to try to line it up as best I can. Now I don't have a vise or anything. I'm just gonna kind of hold it in my hand. It is plastic, so I don't think it's gonna really matter. I'm not gonna push too hard, and I'm not gonna push too far because, as you can see, this doesn't really go through. Like, I mean, I'd have to really ram it all the way through to cause any damage on the front side. So I think I'm okay there. The only issue afterwards is just gonna be cleaning up all the mess. So I'm gonna have to get some compressed air and take all the slag out. But here goes nothing. All right, line it up and slowly. That's a good smell. Is this big enough?
Giggity, giggity.
No, it is not. One size more. All right, I think that could be okay. I think that could be our ticket. There we go. All right, that wasn't so hard after all, was it? Yeah, I wasn't worried at all. Take a look at this. This looks exactly OEM. This just slots right in, and it's really easy to take this out. There's a little grommet here. You just kind of put it in, twist it, and it stays there in place. I'm gonna have to do that 5 more times. Then I'm gonna wire these things together, and then we're gonna see how this taillight actually works with the turn signals and everything. So now that the taillight is nice and clean, it's time to do some wiring. But wiring is quite a controversial issue because a lot of people have opinions on what is the best method of joining 2 wires together. Some people do solder, some people do crimps. So I think I need to do a little of both. And what I have here are some insulated heat shrink connectors, and I've been meaning to try these out because I hear they're basically like magic. Now, what it is you have this little tube, and in the tube there's 2 pieces of plastic right here and a little piece of solder. So all you have to do is basically put a wire, or rather 2 wires, in between. You heat this up, and then the solder melts, and then this creates a watertight seal. So in essence, this should be really good for any sort of connections because it's flexible, and also it is just as good as a crimp because it has that heat shrunk connection. Now, I could be wrong about this. You guys could be typing in the comments about how this is probably the worst type of connection. This actually seems like a really good solution. So I want you guys to see it and let me know in the comments if you guys have used this in the past and if it's worked. I think it's gonna work in this case. All right, here is the moment of truth. We get to see if the taillight mod that we did actually works as intended. And for dramatic effect, I'm going to turn off the light. Check this out. Oh yeah, that is awesome. Works exactly like OEM. I bet this is Morse code. Can you tell me what I'm saying? All right, guys, we're in the home stretch. We have everything working as intended. We just have to wire this into the stock wire loom, connect that to the car, connect all the brackets, put the light back, put the rear panel back, and hopefully everything lines up and works the way it should. Yeah, nothing hard about that. All right guys, everything is installed except for the finisher piece, but I just want to make sure that all our wiring is correct and everything works like it should. So here's the moment of truth. You guys let me know if everything works. I'm going to try to look at the screen. So first thing we're going to try is clearance lights. All right, that works. Let me turn the car to the on position. So now we got right turn signal. All right, we got left turn signal, and the most important part, brakes. There we go. That looks so good. Oh, awesome. Oh, actually, I'm missing one. Reverse. I think that's a job done. All right, we are done. This looks fantastic, and the rear end is really coming along. Now, I have a few things to do before I button everything up, mainly the wiring. I have to get the wiring in a loom, just make sure everything is, well, the wiring's not hitting anything, and to make sure that it is protected from the heat that is coming out of that exhaust a little bit further below. So that is gonna be done off camera just because it's electrical tape. It's not anything serious, it's not anything super fancy. And I haven't put on the finisher piece because I wanna have that painted, and I also wanna have the rear bumper painted, so maybe I'll do that as one unit in an upcoming episode. But in the next episode, I really want to protect that paint. That paint, I've been on pins and needles trying not to scratch anything during this entire install. And in the next episode, well, maybe not in the next episode because this process does take a little while. In one of the next episodes, I'm going to be installing this Armor Shield 9. Now, AvalonKing sent me this ceramic coat, and it's supposed to work pretty good. They told me to try it out and see what I think. So I'm really excited to see what this does for this car, because this car needs protection, this car needs shine, this car needs a $200,000 look about it, and I think we can get it. So link for this will be in the description below. Link for Euro spares will be in the description below. If you want to have any sort of exotic parts or any hard to find parts for your exotic, then you can head over there, and you get a pretty good discount if you put in Tavarish at checkout. So it's a win-win. I mean, you get good parts and you get a good price. It is really late. I have been at this for the entire day. I know that wiring doesn't seem like it takes a long time, but figuring out what wires do what on the old harness and then the new harness, and then doing it for two taillights. I did one taillight off camera. That takes a little while, and I wanted you guys to see what it's really like to do all this stuff, especially when you're doing it with no wiring diagram, and this is definitely not OEM. So if you'd like to contact me, you could do so. All the social links are down below. If you'd like to buy a shirt, not this one. This one is not my shirt. Pretty good shirt though. But if you'd like to buy one of my shirts, you can do so at the Teespring link down below. All the proceeds go to charity. If you'd like to listen to me talk, you can do so at Car Guys Talk Podcast down below as well. And until next time, this is me telling you that on cars like this that now have amazing looking rear ends with functional taillights and turn signals and all that stuff, you guys need to wrench every day.